Russia had the 8th highest fatalities in the world due to COVID-19, but now it has jumped to the 3rd spot. Russian officials have confirmed that the country's fatalities are at least 3 times higher than the official data. For months, President Vladimir Putin has boasted about Russia's success story. He also claimed that he did a much better job at controlling the infection than other Western leaders. Since the pandemic hit Russia, experts in the country have been claiming that the Putin administration has downplayed the outbreak. But now an official within the government has confirmed this. Deputy Prime Minister Tatiana Golikova has admitted this to be true. Russia recorded nearly 230,000 deaths from all causes this year. The Deputy Prime Minister has said that 81% of these deaths have been reported due to COVID-19, meaning that over 186,000 Russians have died from the highly infectious virus. But the country's official data stands at about 55,000 deaths. Russia has been criticized for only listing the COVID-19 deaths, where an autopsy confirms the virus was the main cause. We want to inform you, Russia is not the only country blamed for downplaying the outbreak and keeping its own citizens in the dark. Remember the birthplace of this virus, China. It has been time and again criticized for hiding the actual extent of the outbreak, not only from its own people, but also the entire world. The Chinese President Xi Jinping has been accused of not revealing the actual figures and presenting a doctored view of the situation in Wuhan, where the virus first originated. Brazil, which is the 3rd worst affected country in the world, has also been criticized for fudging up data to show a fabricated scenario to the world. President Jair Bolsonaro himself has publicly denounced the virus as a mere flu and refused to wear masks. Meanwhile, Russia's government predicts that the economy will shrink by 3.9% this year, while the central bank expects an even deeper decline, while strict measures have been imposed in some major cities. In many regions, basic restrictions like mask wearing in public spaces and reducing mass gatherings are the norm. In recent weeks, the outbreak has overwhelmed poorly funded hospitals in the country. Joining us on the broadcast is Stuart Smith from Moscow. Stuart, this is a story which will continue to tell us how the Russian regime tried to actually conceal the actual magnitude of the outbreak, and we perhaps will not know the actual scenario for weeks now or maybe months from now because of the attempts that have been made by the Russian administration, it seems, to conceal the figures.
We've known since the very beginning that Russia was counting COVID-19 deaths differently to many countries in the world. Very strict criteria for what counts as a death by COVID-19. Some countries, it's a positive test within 28 days of death. Sometimes it's someone contracting COVID-19 and then dying with a positive test. In Russia, a doctor during an autopsy has to declare that that person died from COVID-19, even if they were infected at the same time, but say a heart issue seemed to kill them. That has produced a death toll of 55,000, the official statistic we've heard time and time again here in Moscow. Now, these latest figures, they are based on excess deaths. So that's looking at what happened this year compared to previous years, and 230,000 more people have died. This latest news from the Deputy Prime Minister is that 80% of this year's excess deaths are due to COVID-19, and you do the maths and you see that that figure is 3 times as high as the official statistic. So it's not that the results are lies in effect. What it is Russia is counting COVID-19 deaths in a very particular way and presenting that figure in its reporting. When you look at excess deaths, which is arguably a much more accurate figure, that's when you can see the true picture. And some are even saying that this isn't even the worst of it. A statistician who left Russia's statistics agency, Rosstat, says he believes excess deaths could be as high as 300,000, 70,000 times more than the Russian government is saying. The Russian government, the Deputy Prime Minister, though, Tatiana Golikova, is saying that not a single digit has been misrepresented during the pandemic.
Right. So is this a larger attempt on part of Russia to downplay the outbreak for the entire world? Or are they trying to actually conceal this under the garb of the excess deaths, as you're calling them?
Yes, so the excess deaths, every country has it. Excess deaths are normally higher than the declared deaths in most countries around the world. The difference with Russia is that they have been delaying the statistics, normally 40 days after the month these statistics come out. And this is the first time that we've actually heard an official give us a percentage of what these excess deaths, how they relate to the COVID-19 positive cases. And so that's what many lawyers, epidemiologists and statisticians from outside Russia have been saying, that this is part of a system, a way for Russia to try and underplay how bad the COVID-19 pandemic is in Russia. Russian officials are saying, no, we're just counting COVID-19 deaths differently. We want to be very clear about what is a COVID-19 death and what is a death related to other diseases. And so Russia would just call it a different system of counting.
All right, leaving it there for the moment, Stuart Smith. Thanks very much for joining us with those updates. As Spain now begins its mass vaccination drive, the country has decided that it will be setting up a registry of people who refuse to get vaccinated.